Okay, hello everybody. Yes, I got a mic. This is Stanley Parable. I mean, I played this before, so I know the endings and stuff like that. So, sadly, but I've been on.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-winning, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
So, as I was saying earlier, I got a new mic, and I haven't been uploading videos because I've been busy, very busy. Here we are.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
No, I didn't want to do that at all.
Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
No, I actually won't do that.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
I don't want to do that. So back to the loading screen. For a short time.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left.
Fine, I'll go left.
Oh, no, it's to the right, my mistake.
Yeah, finally.
No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please? Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
Why? Why this way? That's what I'm... Comment if you know why this way. Because why not? I don't know.
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler.
Yes,
Quick, Stanley, close your eyes.
No.
Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning.
No.
And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top.
No, I actually have a limit of 10 minutes, so I might cut this short.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
No, he didn't. He went out this window. Wow, reset it. Maybe it'll load Ben. Sorry about that. My game doesn't load sometimes, and it's not responding sometimes. So.
How wonderful. Stanley was alone. Finally.
Yay.
This is great, he thought to himself.
Yes.
This is what I've wanted all along. I got what I wanted.
Good.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers. At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes.
Yes, I do,
So,
actually.
now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
No.
Ah, then in that case we'll continue. But now, here comes the real question. What do you think would have happened if you had told me that you wanted this to stop? Do you think it would have been particularly different? Would I have taken the same idea but rephrased it superficially to fit that answer?
Yes.
Perhaps you never would even have thought of it if I hadn't brought up the issue in the first place.
That is actually kind
Oh,
of true.
now think about it. Will it be worth it for you to restart and then come back here just to do the other option?
Yes, it would.
Clearly, this whole gag takes some time. What if the other option is even longer? How long will you spend in total just to have heard all the narration? Oh, and this is rich. Perhaps you've just played the other option, and now you've come to see what happens in this one. So, what do you think? Which choice was the better one? Imagine if you had selected continue on your first playthrough, how tantalizing it would be not knowing what happens when you pick the other option. Indeed, you are one of the lucky ones.
Yay.
Though if the other option is really miserable to listen to, then perhaps you're...
Then I'm going to reset it. Because that's how I roll. So, out the window we go.
How long was I sitting there? Stanley wondered
I
to
don't
himself. Minutes? Days? Centuries? Did something crucial happen while my senses were turned?
Yes.
He made a note to be more careful with time from now on.
Yes.
At first, Stanley assumed he'd
Yes,
broken the
yes,
map
yes. I
until he
did
heard this
know, I did.
narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video
Yes, I
game
did,
structure
yes, I
and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're...
Sorry.
Take a minute just to drink it all in. Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
Oh. Oh. Yes, I am.
Well, I don't know how to say this politely, but you could literally just hit escape and restart the game any
Well, that's what I'll do.
old time you want.
I don't want-
Like right now. You could have done it just then. Now would also be an appropriate time to quit. Any of these points and so many, many more, all of them are appropriate.
Just stop.
I'm enjoying what seems to be an internal conflict going on where you are literally unable to act on your own desires to restart the game. So, just to push the envelope, I'm going to try and make this as miserable as possible and see how long you can maintain.
Well, that's about it for this episode. We're going to end out on this.
There once was a man named Stanley, who
Excellent
people
song.
considered
Well, I'm
so
going to end
manly.
this, actually.
But the truth must be told, he was not very old and was quite particularly gangly.
So have
What Stanley liked most was
day.
buttons. He pushed them like
good day. Good day to you all. Or whatever they say. Have a good day.